Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists. Hello, I'm Dango Rose, and this is the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. In this week's episode, we pay a special tribute to moms everywhere. Then Bruce Goodwin with the Coal Creek Canyon Improvement Association shares a few details about the Pancake Breakfast they have planned for this weekend.
We hear this week's music mentions from Jamie Lammers, and special correspondent Maryann Rosen will share a story about the surprising history of Mother's Day. Then, we catch up with the folks at the Rustic Moose in Nederland to hear about a few of the great gift options that they have available for Mom.
Then, Dango interviews longtime local musician Patrick Latella, who delves deep into his new concept album, Weep for the Moon, recently released on the spring equinox.
But first, some news from your neighborhood. It may not feel like it, but summer is right around the corner, and so is the annual Nederland Town Cleanup. With everything going on in town, organizers want to get an early start with securing volunteers. This year's Big Clean has been scheduled for Saturday, June 3rd. Volunteers will be needed from 7:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. Volunteers can dispose of their items free of charge, and Bright Heart Catering will be providing burritos to keep everyone going strong. Go online to sign up at townofnederland.gov/town-clean-up-day.
The town of Nederland is accepting applications for boards and commission vacancies that will be in June. If you want to help make Nederland a better place for everyone, consider joining one of the boards and get involved. Applications are due May 17th. Learn more about each board and download the application by visiting townofnederland.colorado.gov. Then follow the links to the Apply for a Board Vacancy page.
The U.S. Forest Service is reminding residents that they have been conducting a series of prescribed burns set to wrap up by May 7th. Due to smoke from the burns, residents are being encouraged to limit outdoor activities. You can read more information about the burns and how to stay up to date on the progress and completion of the controlled burns through the Forsyth Canyon and Gross Reservoir areas.
Read more local news and feature stories in print and online at themountaineer.com.
And that's it for this week's news briefs. If you have something to share, you can send requests for submission to info@themountaineer.com. As long as it meets our community standards, we'll be sure to include it in a future episode. Brightwood Music has been serving the Peak to Peak region and beyond since opening in 2008. The full-service music store offers new and used instruments and will even repair the ones you've got. Go ahead and check them out on Facebook at Brightwood Music. Brightwood Music is the best music store with altitude across the Peak to Peak. For loving, compassionate, and courageous mothers everywhere. There was in your touch such tenderness as only the dove on her mildest day has, when she shelters down fledglings beneath a warm wing and coos to them softly, unable to sing. What songs long forgotten occur to you now, a babe at each breast? What terrible vow ripped from your throat like the thunder that day can never hold severing lightnings at bay? Time taught you tenderness, time, oh, and love. But love in the end is seldom enough, and time insufficient to life's brief task. I can only admire, unable to ask. What is the source whence comes the desire of a woman to love as no God may require?
That was Dango Rose reading the poem Such Tenderness by Michael R. Birch. Now, we talked to Bruce Goodwin with the Coal Creek Canyon Improvement Association about a special pancake breakfast planned for this Mother's Day weekend.
Well, my name is Bruce Goodwin, and the association that I'm a part of and belong to and on the board of directors for is the CCCIA, which is the Coal Creek Canyon Improvement Association, which has been responsible for bringing up a lot of the utilities and making the canyon what it is today. It's been around since 1947.
Hello, Bruce, and thank you for the introduction. So we hear y'all have a pancake breakfast planned for this Saturday.
Yes, we certainly do. We certainly do.
So tell us more. I understand this is one of the ways the association raises money for local scholarships.
Yes, all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, go to the scholarship fund. And the scholarship fund is available to any student that is within the certain areas of Coal Creek Canyon, mainly the high schools that they go to. And we offer anywhere between, depending on how many applicants we have, it could be anywhere from $500 to $2,000. And we do that 4 times a year for the pancake breakfast. And we have the interviews coming up here in about a week. But we have 4 pancake breakfasts a year. We have this one, which is the Saturday before Mother's Day. We also have one on the 4th of July, which is the big one. Then we have another one the 3rd Saturday in September for people coming up to look at the leaves. And then we also have one for the Saturday just before Valentine's Day. So we have 4 a year that all goes into the scholarship fund.
And really, any senior in the area can apply for the scholarship regardless of their area of study. Is that right?
It can be for any high school senior that plans on going to, it doesn't have to be college. It could be any post-secondary schooling. It could be vocational school. But they do have to start the next semester. So they would have to start in August at the next term. But it would be for any vocation, whether it's they want to be a doctor, they want to go to a community college, or just anything after, as long as it's post-high school.
So the association also hosts other community events for people to enjoy. Can you tell people a little bit about some of the other things planned and how they might be able to join in?
Now, we have 2 magnetic signs in the canyon, and I put the letters up for events on those 2 signs. One sign is just east of the trestle as you're coming up Highway 72, and then the other one is right in front of the community center, right across from United Power. And we have the open mic and also the community hangout. These are 2 things that we have every month. The open mic is just anybody that wants to come and play music, or if you just want to come and listen. We have that, and we also have the community hangout, which is you just want to come, maybe play some board games, just see other people, catch up with some friends, and we do both of those once a month. And then we do have the canyon cleanup coming, and we do that twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. And we start at the community center, and we have to have people watch a video online that's required by the state, I believe it's by CDOT, and it's about hazardous materials, picking them up on the side of the road, what to look for. And so we meet at the community center at 8 in the morning, and then we have bags, those huge orange plastic bags that you might see along the side of the highway after we have the cleanup. And we have some snacks. People can take some water bottles or little breakfast bars with them. And then we have a section. Usually people take a mile section at a time. And it can be just one person or it could be a pair, two people. And we pretty much do the entire canyon from pretty much from the bottom of where Highway 93 and 72 intersect all the way up to the Wonder View and a little bit beyond.
And you mentioned a good way to keep up with the association and to learn more about Coal Creek Canyon was to visit the website. Can you go ahead and tell people where to go?
That's a great place is coalcreekcanyon.org because they have a calendar of all the upcoming events. That's the best place to go for information. And we do have, if people live up in the canyon, they do have, if you want to learn more about the canyon, there is a book out. And they sell it at the coffee shop and also, I believe, up at the Wonder View. And it's the history of Coal Creek Canyon with pictures and interviews. And it's really an excellent book if you want to know how Coal Creek Canyon got started and who the first homesteaders were. So it's an excellent book.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. We sure hope everyone enjoys the pancakes and comes out to support a great organization in the process. Be sure to visit the website for more information at coalcreekcanyon.org.
You can walk up there, water bottle and a couple of layers. You can walk up there, I'm just saying. You can reach the top, though you're afraid of failing. You can reach the top, I'm just saying.
Now we go to correspondent Jamie Lammers, who will be delivering this week's Music Mentions.
And now for this week's Music Mentions. Head to Busey Brews, located at 70 East 1st Street in Nederland on Sunday, May 14th at 2 p.m. to see Ella Wren performing live. Head to the Canyon Tavern, located at 32138 Highway 72 in Coal Creek Canyon on Saturday, May 13th at 6 p.m. to see J.J. Frazier performing live. Every Thursday at 7 p.m., the Covered Wagon hosts a karaoke night. Be sure to head to 15 East 1st Street in Nederland to check them out for yourself. Head to the Gold Hill Inn, located at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill on Wednesday, May 10th at 7:30 p.m. to see the Vince Herman Band performing live, on Friday, May 12th at 8 p.m. to see Chain Station performing live, on Saturday, May 13th at 7 p.m. to see Lisa Listander and John Sousa performing live, and on Sunday, May 14th at 6 p.m. to see the Kate Farmer Duo performing live. Head to Howlin' Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Sunday, May 14th at 4 p.m. to see an open bluegrass jam. Head to the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown on Thursday, May 11th at 7 p.m. to see the Cosmic Charlies Duo performing live, and on Friday, May 12th at 7 p.m. to see the Jay Silence Band performing live. Head to Knotted Root Brewing every Sunday at 4 p.m. for Jazz Sundays with Black Dog and Friends. They're located at 250 North Caribou Street in Nederland. Every Saturday at 6 p.m., the Millside Inn hosts an open jam. Be sure to head to 44365 Highway 72 in Ward to check it out for yourself. Also be sure to head there on Friday, May 12th at 8 p.m. to see High Lonesome performing live, and on Saturday, May 13th at 8 p.m. to see Derek Dame Zoll performing live. Head to the Nederland Farmers Market, located at 85 East 1st Street in Nederland on Sunday, May 14th, starting at 10:30 a.m. to see the Alpha Tones performing live. Every Thursday at 10 p.m., Ned's Cafe hosts a Dan Jam, and every Sunday at 7 p.m., they host a karaoke night. Be sure to head to 121 North Jefferson Street in Nederland to check them out for yourself. And finally, head to the Very Nice Brewing Company, located at 20 East Lakeview Drive, number 112 in Nederland on Friday, May 12th at 6 p.m. to see Mountain Reverb performing live, and on Saturday, May 13th at 5 p.m. to see David Cole performing live. Did we miss you or your performances? Want to submit your music listing in the Beat to Peak area? Do you have updates to your business or to your performances? Please call 303-810-5409 or email info@themountaineer.com to be included in the next print edition or the next podcast of The Mountain Ear.
Thank you, Jamie. Now let's drop in with special correspondent Maryann Rosen, who tells us a fascinating tale about the history of Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, For some, a day to honor their deserving mums. For others, a bittersweet day for a myriad of reasons. The origins of this holiday, though, may surprise many. Celebrating mothers is not a new idea and has gone on for centuries. In ancient Greece, it was traditional to set aside days to honor Rhea, the mother of gods, and in Rome, Cybele, mother of goddesses, was worshipped as early as 250 BC. In 17th century England, Mothering Day was observed to recognize mothers. Servants living in their employers' homes were given time off to go home and spend time with their mums. As Christianity took off, it also became a day to salute the Mother Church. This story, however, will focus on Mother's Day in the U.S. In 1872, after the Civil War, Julia Ward Howe, who wrote the lyrics to the Battle Hymn of the Republic, called upon mothers of the world to gather to bring peace to a divided nation. Howe wrote an appeal to womanhood throughout the world, which some later referred to as a Mother's Day proclamation. Her idea did not catch on well at that point. However, she held Mother's Day meetings in Boston every year thereafter. While this was going on up north, down in West Virginia, Anne Reeves Jarvis was establishing a day set aside for mothers to get together for a day of service to help other moms who were less fortunate. She began Mother's Day work clubs to educate communities about diseases, hygiene, sanitation, and medicine in an attempt to combat infant and early childhood mortality. She spent her life mobilizing mothers to care for their children. After the Civil War, Reeves Jarvis's clubs expanded to include Mother Friendship Days to bring soldiers, neighbors, and families of differing beliefs together with a post-war conciliatory goal in mind. It was her dream to have a nationwide day to commemorate the service mothers render to humanity in every field of life. After her death in 1905, her daughter Anna Jarvis vowed to fulfill her mother's dream, wanting to recognize her own mom, along with her own beliefs that one should honor the sacrifices individual moms made for their children, that children neglect their moms until it is too late, and that all other holidays were too male-centric. On May 10th, 1908, she sent 500 white carnations in honor of her late mother to the family church in West Virginia, and also held a Mother's Day celebration in Philadelphia. This was considered by many as the first Mother's Day. Anna Jarvis and supporters then initiated a letter-writing campaign to political leaders, florists, and card makers to gain recognition for a nationwide holiday and to promote it. By 1911, it was celebrated in nearly all states, and on May 9, 1914, President Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation making it a national holiday. Mother's Day had now shifted to honoring one's own mom and began to become more and more commercialized. Dismayed by the commercialization of the day, in 1943, Anna Jarvis requested that florists and card makers take the day off of their promotional calendars and organized a petition to rescind the Mother's Day holiday altogether. These efforts were halted as her health declined, and she was placed in the Marshall Square Sanitarium. The floral and card-making companies paid her medical bills, many believed to ensure that she would stay there. So on this Mother's Day, May 14th, perhaps take a moment to ponder the origins of this holiday as one of service, helping less fortunate moms, helping moms to care and be close to their children, education and peace, as well as definitely commemorating and honoring your own deserving moms, showing them in special, meaningful ways that they are loved and appreciated. So to all mothers and mothering figures, alive or who have passed, to all who play the role of mom or wish to play the role, happy Mother's Day.
Okay, folks, it's the Bizarre Cat Bazaar call to action for vendors, artists, musicians, and merrymakers. If you want to be a part of this exciting new event taking place in the heart of Nederland, go to thebizarrecatbazaar.com. That's with both bazaars, a cat in the middle and a .com.
And now we hear from Deb at the Rustic Moose, located here in Nederland, about some great gift options for the mountain mama. Deb, can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, I'm Deb Donahue, Rustic Moose in Nederland, Colorado.
So Deb, can you tell us about some of the gift options that you have available for people that are coming in to shop for Mother's Day?
Well, of course, we always have the never-ending supply of different types of T-shirts, sweatshirts. We just got in some amazing blue jean jackets. We've got gorgeous, colorful artwork, jewelry, turquoise, silver, you name it. Lots of different sizes of and styles of artwork.
The Rustic Moose has been around for a long time now. What do you think really makes the store a unique destination shop for anyone visiting Ned?
Let's see. We always have fun music playing and people walking around telling their stories. We've got, mugs and socks. And if she's a dog or a cat lover, we've got a huge dog and cat section. And one of my favorites that people have been picking up lately for Mother's Day are floppy hats, western hats, and our sun hats. So that might be a fun mom gift as well. And then we have a whole downstairs department that has everything for the home, blankets and pillows and anything you could think of. And then, of course, we have all the children's things, too. I have family members in Florida and Texas, and every year they call and say, hey, Deb, hey, Mom, bring us some Colorado stuff. So this is the shop for that.
And the store is open daily. Is that right?
Yep, we're open every day. Normally 10 to 6, although Friday and Saturday lately we're kind of moving towards 7 since it's a little bit lighter out. We're staying open a little bit later.
Thank you, Deb. We definitely hope everyone takes the time to stop by. The Rustic Moose is located in the heart of Nederland, right on First Street. You can also visit them on Facebook.
That was a portion of Patrick Latella's Weep for the Moon. Next, Dango catches up with Patrick, who tells us about his concept album that has been decades in the making.
All right, I'm here with Patrick Latella, longtime Nederland local, who just released Weep for the Moon. Patrick, can you go ahead and please introduce yourself for our listening audience?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Patrick Latella. I'm a Colorado-based musician. Was based in the Nederland area for a long time.
Patrick, it says here that Weep for the Moon is a double LP length concept album that addresses humanity's struggle to unify compassion, empathy, and kindness with a message of hope that we can someday eradicate hate, greed, and violence, and by extension, conserve and heal the planet.
Thank you. Thank you for reading that out loud to everybody, because that is what the album is about.
So with the album being about these lofty ideals and concepts, how would you describe the music?
The album really does run the gamut of, classic rock sounding for sure. I mean, a lot of the classic rock instrumentation is there, drums, bass, guitars, keys, horns, you name it. It does have ambient sections. It has a moment or two that get pretty close to a straight up singer-songwriter. It has a little trance funk here and there. It's really kind of a hodgepodge, and that's really how I'd say my compositions over the course of my career have always kind of been that way.
So Patrick, how long have you been working on this album?
It has spanned about 30 years, actually a little bit more than that even, to get the entirety of the composition, the scope of how long these things have been in play. I just always have been and still am into longer form pieces, albums that I can be drawn into and then can remain in that space. A good bit of the song I wrote back then, so 93, 94, 95. It then kind of got shelved. I revisited it with the goal of getting it recorded in the fall of 2018. And between then and honestly the day before mastering, I was completing compositions.
So it says here that Weep for the Moon was played in its entirety at the Stage Stop back in 1995. Now tell me, is Weep for the Moon the title track of the album? Or does Weep for the Moon encompass the entire concept itself?
Yeah, great question. So I'll take it in the chronology of the piece. It originally was one song. It was about 45 minutes long at the time. It was one song in that it just hadn't been maybe broken out yet. We never played it out of order. It was always one specific arrangement, and that's the way we played it. So originally it was one song. When I revisited it, a lot of this had sort of come by necessity of the recording process. I needed to chop the music up to be able to work on it. And as I began to chop it up, I needed little placeholder names for things, and even when I was saving my recording tracks. And then certainly when it took about 2.5 years to get everything except for the drums basically to be recorded. And then when the drums were added, I needed to be able to pass the tracks off to Christian Thiel, the drummer. And so I needed a little name. I needed something to identify it. Like, what are we working on? I didn't want to have it be just like part 1, part 2, part 3. And lyrics came out in the new writing also that really began to inform the new message, the newer continuation of the original message, but a broader sense of the message, more focused on humanity and it being our point of focus to conserve the planet. So in that sense, to answer your question, Weep for the Moon is the album. There is a track on the album called Weep for the Moon. It's the last track on side 2. The entire album is really meant to be, it does have a flow that I think works best when you listen to at least an entire side at a time, if not the whole album, because it is telling a story, not like a literal story about a character, but more like a vision and a concept.
So Patrick, it almost feels like this is a culmination for you, as if it's your life's work. Would you agree? Does it feel that way to you as well?
It does. It really does. And it has so much, to me as an artist, built into it. Would likely relate, you're an artist yourself, somebody I admire and respect a ton. And, you know when there's something inside of you and you're trying to get it out of you. And it's musical, it's lyrics, it's message, it's whatever it might be to you as an artist. And this has just been something that for me that has been, again, it was on the shelf for so long that all I could ever do was talk about it. Somebody would say, "Oh, can I listen to it?" Well, I don't have a great recording of it. In fact, the recording I have of it was from a recording of a band we played in Fort Collins in 1995 at a place called the Mountain Tap Tavern. But we happened to record it. And this was back in the day. So, we brought a stereo component, tape deck. We carted this thing around and, the RCA jacks out of the board into the tape deck to record. And just by pure luck, honestly, I would say the cassette tape of this got preserved. So I used the recording to remember how it went a lot, actually. And I had to learn everybody's parts because I ended up playing everybody's parts, essentially, other than the drums and the percussion on the album.
Do you remember the night that this recording was from?
So there we were in Fort Collins, and it was, dark and stormy night in Fort Collins. There's probably 4 people at the bar. We had done a lot of shows like that. But the 4 people who were there were just glued to it, and they really rode the journey. So there we were playing it. We believed in it at the time. These smattering, a very, very small smattering of people were there believing it with us. So the recording, although it's kind of sloppy and brash and plenty of room for critique, the energy was there and the intent was there. So it was fascinating to me to have that and to be reminded of a moment for any band. There's a moment when you're in a band, and I bet you relate to this too, when you're all on the same page. And it's a magical time. And it's so fragile, that time, when you're all on the same page and you're all firing on all cylinders creatively, communication, attention, enthusiasm. So anyway, that was a moment in time where we had that.
Patrick, how can people listen to the album?
There are several places, in today's day and age, it's pretty easy to get it up on all the major streaming sites. So through the channels of today, so it's up on Spotify and Pandora and you name it. There is a Weep for the Moon YouTube channel. So look for that. There is my website, patricklatella.com. So that's where you can listen to it right now. And really the number one thing that I would hope anybody would do is just listen to it, because I know what it's like when I hear something that I love or resonate with and like enough to continue to listen to it. So if people listen to it, that would be fantastic. It is a musical journey. I'd like to think anyway that it's patient and takes the time to build towards something. And I hope people are up for that. And I think for the right space, it's the perfect background to a lot of life.
Thank you, Patrick, and congratulations on the release of Weep for the Moon. We here at The Mountaineer are excited to listen, and we hope that you all do as well.
That concludes this week's episode of the Mountain Air Podcast, where everybody's listening.
Visit our website at www.themountaineer.com to read more information about today's guests. Pick up a copy of this week's print edition of The Mountaineer at newsstands all across the Peak to Peak. I'm Dango Rose.
And I'm Cynthia Davis. Thank you for listening.
Every day is a better day in Nederland.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local peak-to-peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.